Oh, hello. My name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Whoa. Alrighty, so I think this is one of my last, end of the year, beginning of the year videos. This may be my last sort of, closing a year, opening up a new year type things. And that's because today I want to talk about 19 books that I want to try to read in 2019. Now, this does not include the books that I mentioned in my classics video that I believe went up last week. So this is a separate list, and it's pretty ambitious. All around, when I was looking through all the books, kind of coming up with what I want to try to get through this year, I'm like, okay, girl, yeah, that's a lot. I do read a lot, though I'm trying to read a little less this year. Again, as you saw in an earlier video. But anyway, all that to say, I did come up with 19 books that are on my TBR. A lot of these are on my physical TBR, as you can see right here, that I really would like to try to get through if I could. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely a mood reader, so anytime I try to create a TBR, there's a little bit of risk involved in terms of me actually doing it. But I actually did okay on my 2018 TBR, and I enjoyed kind of doing that and comparing what I thought I might get through to what I actually got through at the end of the year. So anyway, I decided to do it again this year, so without further ado, let's get into those 19 books. And we'll check back in a year from now and see how well I do on this. So we'll just run through these in alphabetical order. So the first one would be Bayou Moon by Ilona Andrews. And this is the second book in the On the Edge series from them. I read and enjoyed the first book, and I've heard that this book, the Bayou Moon, the second book in that series, is actually the best in the series. So I would like to get to that. I have that on my 5-star prediction list. So I'm trying to get, that's a side note, I am trying to get through all of the things I put on that prediction list this year so that I can compare and see how I did. So we got that one. Next, I have Blessed, A History of the American Prosperity Gospel by Kate Bowler. This is one that I got about 50 pages in and then got distracted by. I really like histories of religion and philosophy, and so that's something that I want to put on my TBR this year. I did so much of that in grad school that I think I definitely needed kind of a break from that for a little while, but I've been in the mood recently, so I want to try to lean back into that, as you'll see in a couple of these picks this year, and read some history, read some philosophy, all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to this. It was definitely really interesting when I was getting going in it. Along those lines, I also would like to read Born Again Bodies by R. Mary Griffith. This is Flesh and Spirit in American Christianity. Basically, this is a history of sort of relationship to bodies and evangelicalism, and that stuff was definitely a partial root, at least, of a lot of my disordered eating stuff. So I would definitely be interested to read more just from a historical aspect, sort of how kind of conservative evangelicalism thinks about bodies and projects that onto its followers. We'll just leave that there. Next, we have The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro. Now, Kazuo Ishiguro wrote my second favorite book ever, which is Remains of the Day. And so this is his take on a fantasy thing, and I just really would like to read it finally. I'd like to get around to this. Yeah. So I think that this is one that I will enjoy. It's gotten some mixed reviews, but I don't know, I feel hopeful about it, let's say that. So yeah, I'd like to get to this year. Coming back into the philosophy/religion portion of things, we have Dare We Hope That All Men Be Saved by Hans Urs von Balthasar. So this is, Hans Urs von Balthasar is a Catholic theologian, philosopher. I read a book of his called Prayer in grad school that I really enjoyed. It's one of my favorite books on meditation, basically. It definitely has a Christian point of view to it, but it was a really interesting metaphysical take on what meditation and prayer do or don't do. I really enjoyed that, and this is A Short Discourse on Hell, so I would really like to read this. This is essentially an argument for Christian universalism from a Catholic point of view. Anyway, I think it'll be really interesting. I've seen this referenced a lot. This is one that I was wanting to get to. And again, I just really like Hans Urs von Balthasar, and I'd like to dig back into some religion and philosophy this year. Okay, next we have Difficult Women by Roxane Gay. Aidi was my favorite book of 2018. Hunger was my favorite book of 2017, so I definitely wanted to get another Roxane Gay in the mix. I love short stories. I love her short stories. I am very optimistic that this will be a 5-star book. Excited for it. Okay, and then next is The Diviners by Libba Bray. This is sort of a paranormal 1920s YA mystery. I've seen really mixed reviews on this. Some people really love it and some people really hate it. And frankly, I'm just curious to see kind of where I'll fall in it. Premise-wise, sounds like something I would love, so going into it with some level of optimism, but I am aware that not everybody loves this one and there's problems with it apparently for some people. So we'll see how I do with it, but I would like to get to that this year. And it looks like I forgot to bring this next one up, but I have been slowly making my way through Essays in Understanding by Hannah Arendt in 2018, and I would like to finish that in 2019. I really enjoy Hannah Arendt as a philosopher. She's, I think, a very relevant thinker in our current moment in history, and I've been really enjoying reading from her. So I would like to finish that, and I might even start on her next one, which I think was Thinking Without a Banister, and that's like what I'm reading right now, that collection is sort of like the first half of her career essays, and then Thinking Without a Banister I think is like the second half. So anyway, I'd like to finish that one this year. Next, I would like to read The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. Now, I also have How Long Till Black Future Month, which is a short story collection from her. I think that is where I'm going to start with her, so I'll read that because I really like starting with short stories from authors. Like, that's my favorite way to kind of get to know a new author. And then assuming that I like that, which I think I will, just based on everything I know about her as a writer, I'm looking forward to diving into a weightier tome. Now, I will tell you, the fifth season has like a twist, and I think I'm 98% sure I figured out what that is just based on the way people talk about it, but I still think I will, even knowing what I think that twist is, I think I will enjoy that book. And it will be kind of like a heavier version of fantasy, which sounds good to me this year. Okay, next is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. This is sort of a coming of age, like YA/Bildungsroman. I'm not totally sure where this will end up being, classic. This is a book that has been very often recommended to me as like, oh my gosh, you would love that so much. How have you not read it? I don't know. How have I not read it? So let's rectify that this year and give this one a read. Then I would really like to read Jane Steele by Lindsey Faye. This is a Jane Eyre retelling with serial murder. How have I not read this yet? I don't know, because that could not be more up my alley. So I'm really excited to get to this one. We'll see how I do with it. It is also another one that I've seen mixed reviews on, but like I am way into the idea of this, so I'm hopeful that I will like it. And like I love retellings, and Jane Eyre is my all-time favorite book, so I'm gonna try not be critical in terms of like it's not as good as the like that's a ridiculous standard to hold it to, but like I'm hoping for an enjoyable reframing of the story that will enhance my enjoyment of the original. Okay, next up is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have the first trilogy in the Mistborn universe, and I would like to at least start that trilogy this year. If I end up really liking this, who knows, I might go ahead and continue, we'll see, but yeah, I would like to at least start giving this a go, and if I absolutely hate this, then that will let me know I don't need to read the next ones, and I can just like DNF them and move on. Then we have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, / also Crooked Kingdom if I liked Six of Crows. That was on my TBR last year and I didn't get to it, and I really would like to get to that one this year. I also have all 3 of the Grisha books on ebook, so if I enjoy those, I might read the Grisha trilogy as well. We'll see. I at least want to I've never read Leigh Bardugo really, so I want to at least have an experience with her because she's such a big author on BookTube. I at least want to have like an opinion about it. And the hype, it's been enough time since that little duology came out that I think I at least have some of the hype lessened for me. Like, I know people love this, but I hope that my expectations aren't too high and I can just enjoy it for whatever it is. Next, we have Slouching Towards Bethlehem by Joan Didion. So I read, what is that first book on grief? The Year of Magical Thinking. I read that and I didn't like the book, but I liked her writing, and this is like arguably her most iconic collection, so I'm really excited to read this from her. And like I liked the writing so much, and I think she's just such a she's a definitive author in terms of like stylistically and defining kind of a direction for a genre. Like Didion definitely is that, so yeah, I'm really excited to kind of encounter this perennial essay classic. Then, Stoner by John Williams. This is one that I have meant to get to for several years. This has been on my TBR for maybe like 10 years now. I don't even know. This is sort of like a new classic in literary fiction. Like, people really, really love this. It was sort of like a book that went away and then I feel like got rediscovered about 10 years ago, which is when it went on my TBR. And yeah, I would like to finally get to it because he does, I think, have 3 or 4 novels that people, if they like him, love all of them. him, so I would like to read this and then see if he's going to be somebody who I want to like keep going in his backlist with. Next is Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. I really wanted to read that book in 2018 and just never quite got my act together to do it, so I'm really excited. It's urban fantasy with kind of, it's like post-apocalyptic urban fantasy with a Native American magic system, and I've really only heard good things. The only like cons I've heard have been mostly things that I just associate with first books in terms of like getting kind of the story going, which is just sort of part of the deal in a series, and I, especially in a first book, I have a lot of patience for that. So yeah, I'm really excited. I recommended this to a good friend of mine who doesn't normally read urban fantasy or any kind of romance, and she loved it, so that makes me excited to give it a try. Also, that reminds me that I need to force her to read Kate Daniels, because I think if she liked this, she'd probably like Kate Daniels. Note to self. Another one that I definitely want to read this year is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Now, I own, what is it, Spinning Silver. I got that as a Book of the Month club thing, but I don't want that to be my first Naomi Novik just because I heard really mixed things about it, and everything I've heard about Uprooted makes me think I would like it, even though some people don't like it. The things they talk about not liking, I think I would like. So I'm pretty optimistic about it, and yeah, I would like to get to that. I'd also like to get to Spinning Silver this year, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, definitely Uprooted by Naomi Novik is on my list. The most shameful addition to this is A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. I got this as an ARC in September and still have not read it. Shame on me. I really would like to read it, and it sounds good. I mean, it's a translation from a French YA series, and I would like to know if I like the series and if I want to continue in it. So yeah, I definitely really would like to get to this, if nothing else to just assuage my guilt because I feel it judging me from my shelves right now. And then finally, Year One by Nora Roberts is the last one on my list. I started reading that. I think I read about the first 50 or 100 pages, then it went back to the library. I got it on ebook sale, so like, I want to read it and see if I want to continue in the series with her. The thing is, with Nora Roberts, I've tried some of her paranoras, like some of her more magical-y books, and they haven't worked as well for me. I tend to like her more as like a thriller or mystery type contemporary author. So I don't know if this will work for me or not, because it's sort of like a near future like plague apocalypse kind of thing, and so we'll see how I do with it, but I would at least like to read it and see if I want to continue in the series. So that is my 19th book, and those are the 19 books I'd like to read in 2019. So there you go. That's quite a list, and even just looking at it, I'm reminded again, like, I do have very diverse taste in books, because there's a lot of different genres and a lot of different kind of levels of seriousness, difficulty, weightiness, whatever. And I also have, you know, I've got my classics I want to read. I do want to try to catch up with the In-Depth series this year. I have a number of like new releases that are coming out and series that I'm reading that I'm definitely going to want to get to. So like, girl, it's a lot. I already have a pretty full docket this year, which is part of why I think I mentioned this in my goals, that I'm going to try to slow down a little bit on new book acquisitions, because I really would like to make some progress on the books that I have and kind of get, I mean, not even close to even, but at least like make some serious progress on my TBR that I already own. And I don't know, I feel like this should be a year to kind of do some catch up and not a year to like get all the books. We'll see how I do with that, because you know your girl likes to buy some books, so we'll see. But anyway, I think that will do it for this video, so definitely let me know if you have any books that you're wanting to read this year, if you've got any kind of like year TBR going that you're hoping that you'll get to. Definitely let me know that in the comments, and yeah, other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below, and I think that will do it. I hope you're having a really lovely day, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye!